Where is the decoration?
The decoration, not the. As in,
High Power 102.7 FM, the voice that echoes through every home, every heart. From the streets to the studio, we bring you real talk, real music, and real moments. We are not just a station, we are a movement. High Power 102.7 FM, the pride of the people.
It's young to the big Guinness. Yes, a very beautiful morning and out there, and of course you're welcome to another amazing edition of Political Perspective. Yes, so this is a program we bring to your listening pleasure, talking politics and everything beyond it. Like I said earlier, good morning out there, Nigerians, and of course, welcome to another amazing edition of Political Perspective on your dialing station, iPower 102.7 FM. Yes, I am Florence Ibhareman. And of course, you know how we do it, what we do on the program. Every time we come on board like this, we have an in-house analyst talking about giving justice and analysis on the topic to be read or said to you on the program. And today we have in the house Alaba Adeyemi doing justice to the topic for discussion. Of course, you know what is happening in Ondo State today as we turn to our attention to Ondo State 1 year after a major political transition, and of course, and how it has shaping our leadership in the Sunshine State. Good morning, Alaba Adeyemi.
Thank you very much, Florence. How are you today?
I'm very well. It's a pleasure having you in the house.
Thank you very much.
So today we'll be looking at Ondo State, the Sunshine State, talking 1 year after, of course, and 1 year, and of course many more years to come. And talking about the political dynamics of how it has worked, looking back, and of course following the passing of the former governor Rotimi Akeredolu, power constitutionally transferred to his deputy, and of course the now governor Lucky Ayedatiwa. 1 year later, we ask ourselves, how has governance been? Has it been stable? How has the development accelerated? How are even the ordinary person, how are we living in Nigeria? These and many more questions we have for ourselves today, talking about Ondo 1 year anniversary. So let me start with this first question. Talking about Ondo 1 year anniversary, Alaba, what do you have to say about the celebration of the anniversary as in Ondo State at the moment?
Well, thank you very much. First of all, let me correct a notion, because I'm correcting this notion because we are in the media, and sometimes media. What is said on the media or written down will become part of history tomorrow, or will become a point of reference tomorrow. This current government is not 1 year in office. By the 27th of this month, it will be 2 years and 2 months in office. For the sake of clarity, a lot of people would want to argue, many of those who are saying 1 year are saying that 1 year on the basis of the fact that after he was elected as governor, that and he was sworn in last year for a full 4-year term, then they began to count that 1 year. But there is a 1 year 2 months where he acted as a governor and received all the rights and privileges of a governor, and had all the authorities and power that a governor has. So and that has happened since December 27, 2023. So if you calculate that properly, it is no longer, it is erroneous to say 1 year in office. Well, the government can call it whatever they want, but I also understand that the people are not daft not to know that the governor has spent 2 years and almost an additional 2 months in office. It is as simple as that. So if we are going to assess some persons, because previously I've had all sorts of arguments, and that is why it is necessary to correct those notions. One of the arguments that we had in 2024 was that the budget for that year had been prepared before he was sworn in December 2023. Therefore, it hampered the performance of the government because the blueprint for performance had been laid down. Having operated that budget, he had presented a budget. He had presented 2 budgets now. So, and 1 budget is for 1 fiscal year. So how are we counting the 1 year? So first of all, let us cancel the idea that this government has spent 1 year. No, it has spent 2 years and 2 months. And for those 2 years and 2 months, he had all the rights, the privileges and the authority that a governor should have. So when we want to assess him now, we should be talking about 2 years, not 1 year. Although this radio station, if they bring advert for you to celebrate 1 year, you collect it. But the reality is that all of us knows by the 27th of today is 24th. In 3 days' time, it will be 2 years and 2 months.
Okay, for clarity's sake, thank you for that insight. Now, looking at the leadership transition and political stability as regards Ondo State, when we talk about smoothness and constitutional transition, what would you say when it comes to Ondo State, how we have actually transited constitutionally from Akeredolu to the current governor?
This governor has not had any problem in governance at all. It has had one of the smoothest in our history. How? It inherited a house that was heavily on the side of his party. Heavily on the side of his party. And as we speak today, there's no one left in the opposition party in the House of Assembly. Every member of the House of Assembly is a member of the APC. Even the leader of the opposition decamped to the APC. So there is no challenge for any proposal brought before the House as we speak. Anything they want approved will be approved. That is one. Two, in terms of finances, this government has not had any problem because the subsidy has been removed. Federal allocation has increased. That is two. In terms of the ascension to power, this is the first governor that will win in all the 18 local governments. It was a total landslide. The opposition was completely annihilated. So the transition has been very, very smooth. The transition has been very, very smooth. So there's nowhere, there's no problem. Basically, no problem in terms of the smooth running of the DC. Those things that used to give other governors challenges as commissioners and advisors, he chose on his own. He chose on his own. He selected them. Many of them had not occupied such positions before. He selected them. Many of them quite young. He picked them. So everything has been smooth.
Okay, that's very good to know. Now, talking about the anniversary, you would agree with me that anniversary in governance is not merely ceremonial milestone. It's a time for accountability checkpoints where citizens actually have the opportunity to reflect, not just emotionally now, but critically on the leadership performance, the policy implementation, the economic impact, and even social development. Now, looking at 12 months, the last 12 months, Ondo State has faced key issues as regards security concerns in rural areas, even economic pressure. Now, I want to major first on that security concern, because of late we've had back-to-back occurrences. So what would you say actually gave rise to that security issues as regards one of the issues we face in Ondo State?
Well, I am not a security expert.
Okay.
But by being in the media, I have knowledge about how certain things work. And I understand that government, whatever, there's no government that can apprehend all the criminals in their space. Because criminality is not something that people write on their faces, or something that people are born one day and they say this one is born and he went to school to study to become a criminal. People can turn criminal overnight. People can go haywire overnight. But I have a reservation about the body language of the governor and the statements that has been credited to those who worked under him in the last 2 years plus towards the issues related to security. And I will cite several examples. And that is why people are constantly referring to the performances of the previous governor, the late Governor Akeredolu. It comes down to body language. The body language, the unexpressed and expressed emotions, the disposition. Now, under Akeredolu, there were attacks. But immediately, you would see reaction, official reaction. You will see movement. You will see that people are apprehended. And you will see that the government is constantly telling the people what they are doing, what has been done. And you also see that even those who are the receiving end of that action will either be begging for mercy, or people will be coming from the media space will be awash with what the government is doing. But I will cite 3, 4, 5 examples. Some of them very close to us, some of them not very close to us. A gentleman, one Ojajuni, who claims to be the leader of the Afenifere youth, came out some time ago and said that there are bandits, residents around the Akure airport vicinity. The government came out and said they are not there. The state government also said nothing is happening. The place is safe. Yes, but when they say something is around the place, it doesn't have to be inside that place. Now, in the last 1 month, there have been at least 4 reported and unreported cases of kidnapping and attack and shooting of people in communities not far from that place. And in some of those instances, sometimes I constantly check the pages where we can find statements from government. Government is not issuing any statements as regards those things. I don't know if the government has issued any strong words as regards the murder, the gruesome murder of a revered traditional ruler in this state. So, the body language. Are you aware that not more than 1.5 years ago, the special advisor to the governor of security went on radio, a popular radio station in Ondo State, and said, "Ṣé Àmọ̀tẹ́kùn á fi ìjà pólẹ̀ ní a lọ máa ṣọ́nú gbó ni?" It's online. It's online. It's not. Nobody is trying to trivialize or demarket anyone. The government might mean well for the people, but the reality is that sometimes people are looking at, in fact, even if you are going out to fight, somebody is leading the fight, people want to see that the person is truly concerned about winning that fight. It appears that on security, the government acts as if it is not so much concerned about it. They might have things that they are doing on the ground that we do not know. So, if I have an opportunity to meet the governor today, I would advise him to talk to the people more. Yes, recently, they recruited 500 Àmọ̀tẹ́kùn Corps, new 500 Àmọ̀tẹ́kùn Corps. They were recruited. But there was also a rumor that trended online that in the course of testing firearms, that 5 of those guys were injured. The government position on that particular information till today has not been known. These are the challenges. When government acts as if it is no longer no longer serving the people, but doing the people a favor as regards information, the people will be wary. Nobody can hear what has been happening in Luabo today and not feel bad. Maybe I should tell you why Luabo is strategic. Not just the name. People are now saying that Kusabo ni Luabo. The traditional ruler of Luabo is not just any average Nigerian. He was a man who in the 90s was the secretary to the federal government of Nigeria. A man who contested who almost became a president of this country. He contested with Obasanjo when Obasanjo became the president. Baba Olufalaye, a seasoned economist, a product of the London School of Economics. I don't know how he's going to feel today. I don't know if Baba will be wishing that he had not taken that position. Because thank God that you did the report here, how the people were crying. So, on security, I don't agree. Because we have seen Akeredolu and we have seen Aida Tiwana. I don't agree that this current government has done its best in that regard.
Okay, now, if addressing the public is one of the things, one of the key things you think is a way forward, aside addressing, is it okay to come address the public and not actually do a follow-up action as regards whatever happens as a matter of urgency?
You see, do not let us trivialize information, keeping the people in the know. Now, if somebody suddenly comes here now and say bandits are at the gate, I believe that you and I will no longer be sitting here. Everybody will be looking to the fastest way to get to his father's village. Now, but those bandits, maybe those bandits have been arrested. Somebody now said 2 bandits are sitting at the gate. But they have been apprehended by the police. It was the policemen who brought them there. They are in handcuffs. But that person who came and said, but he didn't say that they are already in handcuffs. The fact that somebody added the additional information that there is handcuffs in their hands and on their legs would change the entire story. And that is why it is important that government constantly informs the people. Okay, I will refer to the Ipele incident that happened in December. Nobody is giving us any other information about it. A federal government installation bumped to the ground. The police and the government, nobody said anything. After certain persons went there, like they went on a pilgrimage, paid a visit there, everybody went home. This is not how this state was run. At least the security of this state was handled under the previous administration. Well, maybe we should fold our hands and just assume that all will be well. Who is next? Then who will be next? That is the question we must ask ourselves. Because those people who have been kidnapped now, whose families are looking for 50 or 40 million naira to bail them, we no go church past them. Oh. They didn't wake up one day and tell God, oh God, please let bandits come and kidnap me today. So that is why, well, those of us, not every night, some of these things I'm saying now, there are persons at home who are listening who can say it better. But who had never had an opportunity to come to a place where thousands of persons can be addressed like this and say it. That is why those of us who have been given the privilege to do it must do it well on their behalf.
Thank you very much, Alaba Deyemi. Of course, you're still on to us from iPower 102.7 FM, and the program is Political Perspective on your darling station. And of course, today our attention is on Ondo State as we mark out 1 year after a major political transition that has shaped leadership in the Sunshine State. Yes, welcome back. The program is still Political Perspective on your darling station, iPower 102.7 FM. And of course, in the house, we have Alaba Deyemi, who has been doing justice to the issues regarding Ondo State 1 year after and 1 year after the transition, talking about the security issues and all of it. And of course, I will take a quick look at the economic performance of the state as regards economy. What has happened to the state revenue? Like you said in your talk that money has not really been the problem because, of course, the government met with their own when it got into power. So there was not really tussle when it comes to having issues regarding revenue and all of that. So what has happened to the state revenue? And has there been any major investment announcement talking about the road project completion and everything ongoing? What would you have to say about it?
Well, in terms of like I have said the other time, this government has had it so good in terms of revenue, in terms of income. Not every government enjoyed that this thing. The Olusegun Mimiko's government, which is one of the best we have had, in fact, in my own rating, is the second after Baba Ajasin. Like I used to say, that when you want to compare governor, put Baba Ajasin in a different league, then now begin to rate others. Had problems towards the end of that government because they had paucity of funds. At a time too, the Akeredolu government nearly entered serious problem because there were challenges with allocation. But this, give it to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He had provided sufficient income for every state government. There was a time that the federal government said the minimum wage is 30,000. And many state governments were saying that they cannot pay because they have not been able to pay the previous 18,000. But this time around, when government said 70,000 minimum wages, there were governors who were saying we'll pay 75, we'll pay 73, we'll pay 80,000 because the money is there. So this government has no problem with funds. Though everybody would say money can never be sufficient, that this and that, but comparatively, it has had a better footing.
So would you say Ondo State is actually diversified when it comes to federal allocation?
That whether Ondo State is doing, if we begin to compare how much is coming in now and how much work we are seeing on ground, on the basis of what we have seen before, I don't think that we are doing well enough. Okay. I'm not saying that we are not doing anything. I'm simply saying that
in terms of transparency or accountability.
No, not even accountability. In terms of infrastructural work, okay, that can be seen, that in terms of projects that can be pointed at, I don't think that we are doing enough. I am not saying we are not doing anything, but I am saying that what we are seeing on ground and the figures that we are reading in terms of this thing and the size of the civil service and every other responsibility of the government, I think that we can still do better.
Okay, in terms of doing better now, what would you suggest? Just like you said, if you meet with the government or the governance today as regards security, that you would actually give your 2 cents regarding getting back to the public in time when we have emergency situations on ground, giving us your word, like let us have a word from the governor. So now, when it comes to security and economy matter now, what would you say is the way forward? Talking about how much revenue we are aware is in the state when compared with the projects being executed, not on the same scale. So what would you say?
I think that we must invest more in our people.
Okay.
Because democracy is government of the people. How do you invest more in the people? It is simple. One, we must take a look at our schools. I have visited several public schools, public primaries and secondary schools. Many of them are in terrible state now. I think that with the recent windfall that we are having, it is important that we take a look at our public schools and make them a place that humans can learn. That is one. Two is that the entire education sector. Just last week, workers at the Rufus Giwa Polytechnic went on protest, asking to be paid the minimum wage. I don't think that is too much for a state that is getting 15, 14, 13 billion naira a month. The least maybe 11. I think that we must address our education. It's a cardinal thing. And I also think that it is time that we empower our people at the grassroots. I think that right now we should be having massive grants and loans for our women. And when I say grants, I'm not talking about 10K, 20K. Because sometimes when people come here, do you know that sometimes when people come and say, when they want to talk about Akure, let me say for Akure, for example, that certain people from a certain tribe outside Yoruba land are buying up the houses, are buying up the land, are the ones investing. It is a man who has eaten, who has taken care of his business, that will invest. It is a man who has a place to sleep, who can even afford to pay house rent somewhere else, that will now remember to come and repair family house. Our people, there's mass poverty among our people, and only the policies of government can reverse poverty. Everywhere that poverty has been reversed, certain things are put in place.
Okay.
We must also ensure that I witness Adefarati's regime, and our people can also bear me witness that the people at the local government are allowed to work. Councillors back then were handling drainage contracts and other things like that. They had jobs to give to people. If you are a member, even if they are giving the contract to members of their party, the members of their party live here. They will spend the money here. Say, everywhere beautiful, big houses. People built it because they have the money to do so. We must empower our people. We must empower our people. But someone once told me that the new crop of politicians that we have do not like a situation whereby people, the average man on the street, will be well fed enough to begin to challenge them. So they weaponize poverty. We can do better. It's not just Ondo. It's in many Yoruba states today. Our people, anyone who is not feeding from the crumbs on the table, is left home and dry.
Okay, on the flip side of this particular discussion, something just popped in, and I'm of the opinion, although I stand to be corrected, that aside being a civil servant who relies solely on the paycheck, can we also say that it's about time for civil servants to also liberate themselves by actually having some other streams of income for them to be able to live well? Is that supposed to be a topic for discussion?
By being a civil servant,
Okay,
you should be able to live an average and comfortable life. And why as our people not be able to live that life? Because the basic function of government has been abdicated. I am a product of a public primary school, but my children cannot go to the current kind of public primary schools that we have, because government has abandoned those schools, have abandoned the teachers there to their fate, and have abandoned the children too. You have to be ridiculously poor to put your children in a public school now. Now imagine that the public primary schools are in good shape, the way they were in the late 80s and even the early 90s. And you don't have to pay out of your salary. You don't have to pay these cutthroat prices that the private schools charge. You have more income. Now, if our hospitals are well managed, the doctors and the nurses are well paid, you will not fall sick and they will tell you, rush him to private hospital. If you go to the maternity, nobody will attend to you. So the cost that you are going to pay to private clinic will also reduce. You have more money. Now, if we have a public transport system that is affordable, then the cost of transportation will also reduce. But the roads are bad. The young man who brought me, the other one in secondary school, you are only concerned with buying books. You have more income in your hand. Then, you, in 5-10 years, you'll be able to buy a small plot of land and build your house, so that landlord and their agent will not be oppressing you every month. That is how the civil servants of yesteryears were able to live a comfortable life. But it's not there again, because as soon as you receive your income, the things that will collect it are already there. And most of those things that are collecting the income from our people are those things that government swore by the constitution to solve. So when we keep calling out government, it's not because we hate the people in government. The people in government are our friends. They are our brothers too. They are our neighbors too. They are our town persons too. But if you want to, somebody once said, a wise man once said, that if you want to know a just society, just go and look at how they are treating the weakest people in that community. So it appears that there's already dichotomy. I said a person appointed by the government came on radio and said that a state-funded institution cannot abandon a particular part of the town and be going to people in the village, but you can look for votes in the village.
Thank you very much for your insights as regards security and economy matter. Of course, the program is still Political Perspective on your darling station, iPower 102.7 FM. Yes, so welcome back. The program is still Political Perspective on your darling station, iPower 102.7 FM. And of course, today the curtain has been drawn open on Ondo State as it marks 1 year in office. And of course, looking at what has happened so far as regards security, economy, education, and of course, the lives of the ordinary persons in Ondo State. Yes, still on the talk, we have this one looking at the health, education, and social impact. Talking about the state hospitals, is it when it comes to being functioning? Talking about recruitment of medical personnel. Talking about rural health access. Also talking about teachers' employment. Talking about infrastructural upgrade. Talking about tertiary institution funding. Now, what do you think? What have you noticed that is common when you mention the state hospital functionality? Talking about the recruitment, talking about medical personnel, talking about rural health assets, talking about teachers' employment and everything that concerns education and health. What have you noticed as common, and what do you think is the way forward regarding this?
Now, well, let me first of all start by saying that a reasonable number of our people in government hate scrutiny. Okay. They hate scrutiny so well that when you ask questions, like some of the questions I'm asking now, they see you as an enemy. They see you as someone who does not love them. Nobody can love. I'll tell you a story. Let me tell you a story. This story, I'm not mocking the person, but I've told the story before, but I want to give people updates on the story. I was working with a different radio station as at the time that some persons were mounting pressure to impeach the current governor as the deputy governor. As at that time, I was one of the loudest voice on radio saying that this guy has not done anything. You cannot remove him. We cannot have 3 deputy governors in 8 years. That people will look at us as an unserious state where deputy governors are always removed, where we are always fighting. Somebody called me and asked me, Alaba, how much did they pay you to be doing all this thing? I said, nobody paid me any money. I don't even know. I've not met this guy before. That's why I've been in the media. But I feel like justice should be done. So he was eventually sworn in December. In April, there was a primary election. And during that primary election, a sitting commissioner punched a journalist for asking around 2 p.m. when a primary slated for 10 a.m. will start. Physically punched him. It was not maybe he said he wanted to punch him. He punched him. It is in the paper. This incident happened in Obaile, Akure North. I won't mention the name of this thing, but that is where it happened. Then another colleague of mine, who I just read in the Daily today as he elevated to head of programs in a station located at Ijapo in Akure, I won't mention names, who is now the new head of program, was also beaten up at St. Stephen's Primary School, Okejebu, Akure, where another sitting commissioner was present. I came on radio and a program and a music program. I wish he's hearing me now. So when we fail to subject ourselves to scrutiny like this, when we fail to say the truth, we don't know who is next. They are killing your neighbor. He's shouting. You are laughing. You can be next. Now, the Bible, which I believe in, spoke about wealth flying away. Today I have money to put my children in a private school. God forbid bad thing, anything can happen. Those people whose children are attending those dilapidated structures, public primary school, those receiving health in those places where they are.
Can you hear us?
Hello, good morning.
Please turn down the volume of your radio set.
Okay, I'm Mr. Taye from Owo.
Good morning, Mr. Taye from Owo. What is your contribution on the program? Yes, we lost. Hello, can you hear? Okay. Mr. Taye, I'm with you.
Okay, please, my brother, you are doing well. Ọlọ́run aṣọ agbára aṣọ di ọ̀tun. So, in my opinion, I can't even see what is Ayédàtiwa has done in 1 year in office. It's zero. I can say it. My sister, if you go to Osun and Ekiti, you see what is happening in Osun State and Ekiti State. Ondo State was created in 1976. Where are we celebrating now? We are celebrating Chacha Market and Ojaopa. It's a big year. It's a big shame. Because what we will expect in Ondo State that Ondo State is the largest state in the southwest. So nothing. What are we celebrating?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Taye, for your contribution. Thank you very much.
It's zero. I can say it.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Taye, for your contribution. And of course, the program is still Political Perspective. To reach us, of course, with your feedback and of your comments regarding Ondo 1 year anniversary today, 08165542699, 08165542699. Because of how far our time is fast spent, I want you to take a quick look and a quick talk on the future regarding education and, of course, electoral implication. Is the governor consolidating political structure ahead of the election, or is Ondo State's strength in opposition? And of course, how is the public sentiment when it comes to the election?
As we speak right now, there's no opposition in Ondo State.
Okay.
The only opposition within the state is within the APC. So the government in power right now has no reason not to work because there's no opposition. Some people say because there's no opposition, he has no reason to also work because nobody is opposing him. That is that. Then we have a bright future. Our people are hardworking, peace-loving people, but they are also egalitarian in mindset. Our people will support you as far as you are doing what they think you should be doing, and our people can also leave you home and dry. So what would happen in the next series of elections, the National Assembly, the presidential election, and the governor's election in the subsequent year, will be determined on the series of
economic stability.
In terms of the economy is stable. There's nothing wrong with the economy. Money is coming in every month.
So why are the ordinary persons not having the money?
That question can only be answered by the governor and the persons he has appointed to represent him. And I believe that as soon as they will be coming on air to also tell us what they have done that we have not seen.
Okay, talking about security, improvements or still as concerns?
No, I think the security situation in Ondo State is now visible to the blind and even audible to the deaf. That everyone, a lot of our people, if not everyone, because somebody already told us that security will concern itself about Alagbaka and Ijapo. But most of us who live in rural areas, most of us who live in the inner cities, are living in fear.
Okay, now talking about public perception, are we divided, or there's a supportive jet towards the government?
Well, the people are divided because for now, in terms of support on the street, some people are divided. Some people are saying, like, we are divided on how many number of days that the government has spent.
Okay.
Some persons are saying 1 year, and some of us are saying it's 2 years, 2 months. Because for those 2 years, 2 months, all the payments and benefits of occupying the seat of the governor was paid to the same person. So all the authorities were in the